What is up, guys? Today we have a video for you. We're going to do a review on Saddlemen's mini SRT fairing. It is a video that has been requested a lot. I get a lot of questions about this. I've had this fairing for almost a year now, so we're going to jump into it, talk all about it. Watch the video, hit that like button, comment down below what you think about this fairing. Don't forget to subscribe, and let's jump into it. Alright, if you don't know, this is the Saddlemen mini SRT fairing, and this is my 2008 Dyna lowrider. I basically started building this thing almost a year ago and have been working with this fairing, took trips on this fairing, definitely spent some time with it, so I feel like it's now time to do a review on it, talk about the install. We're going to ride, talk about it while I ride, and just kind of get into it. First of all, yes, I did pay for this, and yes, it does come in black. If you purchase it brand new, I guess used to, but it comes in jet black or Harley black or whatever, but it pretty much comes already with a nice finish. If you have it on a black bike, or you're going to set it up in such a way where just black is fine, then you don't have to do anything. You don't have to paint it. It's not like a primer black. It's ready to go, which is kind of cool. It does only come with the one windshield. As of right now, there are no options. I have talked to somebody at Saddlemen. They are working on different heights of windshields. I say that because they're not out. It's not promised, but I do believe they are working on some higher windshield options, so we'll see what happens in the future. Now, this fairing right here does not come with a headlight, but you have to use its headlight bucket, so no big deal. You do get rid of whatever headlight bucket you are using, and you just take the headlight and mount in here. It's got a couple trim rings, everything goes in there. I will link the kind of like install video I did up top. It's not a comprehensive install video, but it just shows you what I did. Now, the windshield does mount through with nuts on the back, which is okay. I don't love that, mainly because this piece you see right here that's painted, that has to be removed to get to the nuts in the back to take the windshield off. Now, at the end of the day, are you really going to be taking your windshield off? No. But it would be nice if it was threaded back here, just to be able to take this on and off, especially if in the future there were options. But if that is something that lowers the cost or keeps the cost down on this fairing, I'm okay with that. So you can see back here, again, in the install video it'll be a little better, but this is one big bracket that houses the headlight, and that whole ring goes around and holds the fairing. Now that bolts right through your tank, so you're going to get, or basically around your tank, so you're going to get a different bolt. You see the bracket shoots forward, it kind of holds everything, and then you have a brace on the bottom. The bracket comes down, up, and comes to the bottom of the fairing. So mounting the fairing is super easy. I will say it is a bit daunting at first, taking the whole like headlight bucket assembly apart, because it comes pretty much pre-assembled, and you have to pull it apart to get your headlight in and then redo everything. I think it's smart that it's already together, one, for packaging and shipping, but two, you have to take it apart, put your headlight in, and put it back together, and I think it really helps with the install and getting it all right. There are really good instructions in that box that comes with it, and I think it's, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Of course, I mocked it up and then kind of took everything apart, sent the fairing off to paint, put it back together. So it was a little bit more difficult for me just because of that, but if you're going to get yours painted, you're going to have to deal with that. I will say, and I've heard other people complain about this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to recreate it, I don't know if you can pick it up, but this fairing does kind of squeak at idle. So of course we have solid mount bushings, and this thing, just being a twin cam dyna, this thing does shake at idle. So at idle, this thing is definitely moving around. You can hear a little bit of the squeak, and you do hear that. Now once you get to riding, I don't really hear any of that. I have checked multiple times. I do believe everything is really tight. There is some decent flex in here. I don't know if there's another bracket or something that can be added in here somewhere to help with that. It doesn't really bother me, but I have heard other people complain about it. Again, it won't really bother me, but it can be aggravating, I guess, to some. But let's hop on the bike, go for a ride, and we'll finish up the review riding down the road, seeing what it actually takes. I will say, just by putting a fairing and a set of bags on a dyna, I have pretty much stopped riding my bagger unless like the wife's with me or I have to like do a lot of stuff. The last time I rode the bagger, I had to deliver a bunch of t-shirts and stuff to a Harley shop, and it just wasn't going to fit on our bags. You can get these at wretchedclothing.com along with the gloves. But just having that couple of things really makes a smaller bike more road trip worthy. But let's hop on this thing, go for a ride. Alright guys, we are on the road, and you should be able to have a pretty good visual of what it looks like to be in the cockpit with this fairing. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see it moving around a little bit. I don't know if that aggravates you. Maybe you'll hear a little bit of the squeaking or the vibrating. I will try and call that out to you if I can hear it. I hear a little bit of squeak right now. But again, I've heard more people complain about it. It's hell yeah, brother. It's not something I really complain about it, but with the exhaust on the bike, oh, I forgot to tighten my mirror. I keep forgetting to do that. This review is just derailing, but with my exhaust, and I feel like the average exhaust of one's motorcycle, any little bit of squeaking that comes from this doesn't really matter. Maybe I did something wrong, maybe some felt washers or something else will help, but I really don't think it's a big deal. I just wanted to bring it up because I've seen more people comment and say things that they're aggravated by it, but to me it just really doesn't matter. And for the most part, if that is the biggest complaint, that's a very small complaint for this fairing right here. Hopefully you do get to see like my rider position. Of course the camera is closer to like my mouth, and hopefully you're not blinded by the sun, but that windshield is not too tall at all. Again, my eyes are probably a couple inches, maybe 1.5 to 2 inches higher than what the camera is, but I could probably go with a 2-inch taller windshield and I think it'd be perfect. I definitely love the sportiness and the look of this windshield, and what air I'm getting doesn't bother me. I have also had people say, oh, I get terrible wind buffeting, and I don't really know if I get much wind buffeting. It's not enough where I was like, oh, this is terrible. But that's really going to depend on, you know, your helmet choice, your torso height, and your seat choice. Because, you know, just because me and somebody else are 6 foot tall doesn't mean our torsos are going to be the same length. And also, if we're not running the same seat, we may not be sitting the same height on that bike. So take that with a grain of salt.
Like I said earlier in the video, I have been told that Saddlemen is working on different height windshields, and if they come out with a 2-inch over and especially a 4-inch over, I think that's going to solve anyone's issue of buffeting, and they're going to be able to dial in this fairing for themselves. The type of wind protection this gives me is actually really nice. I was very surprised at even what the wind protection it gives for your legs. Like, I can feel the wind down at the bottom kind of hitting the outer parts of my leg. You can really feel like the wind cut over right here. Like, you can suck your legs in and you're not getting this crazy drag where it wants to like open up your legs. And for long trips, I'm taking this to the beach. I've mobbed it for like 4 hours straight, and to be on the highway just rolling, it is really nice to have a really nice set kind of set up for wind protection. And I don't think a lot of people realize, like, good wind protection isn't just for your face. Like, having it for your lower body and your legs is really nice. And I don't think you really need lowers for this. I think that's an option. Me personally, I don't need them. I do like, you know, the amount of wind it does cut off. I'm not somebody who, you know, needs to be sitting behind a glass wall here and not feel the wind at all. That's not me at all. I'm actually not a big proponent of fairings on small bikes. But when I saw this at Daytona a couple years ago, when it was like basically just a prototype, I was really digging it. I thought it was really cool. I think it had just come out. Probably wasn't a prototype at that point. It was just for sale, and I'd never seen one before. So it was really cool to see it in person, and I felt like it was like the perfect dimension. I kind of fell in love with it, and I just had to have it. And I really liked the flow styling of kind of the cutout here and where the tank is. I feel like the flow of this was just absolutely perfect. The amount of wind protection you get is great. I do think it makes it a little easier and more acceptable to put a bigger bag right here. You can have a little bit more storage because the wind's not touching that at all. That's very helpful. But overall, I think this fairing is just a straight up winner. Now, of course, I would love to hear your opinions down below. Again, this is pretty much just my opinion and my review. I've had this thing for about a year now, taken multiple trips, really put some miles on this thing. Around town, it's great. And on those, you know, 3-4 hour runs to the beach, that thing's great. That's kind of what I built this bike for. I didn't really build it to go any further than 4 hours. I'm kind of centrally located between the ocean and the mountains. I'm about 3.5 to 4 hours to either one. So I thought, you know, this bike, that's all it's designed for, is to maybe run 4 hours on the highway and then spend the weekend, you know, either riding up and down the coast or ripping and carving in the mountains. That's what this bike was for, and I feel like this fairing really helps finish that off. It gives it just a little bit. It ends up giving me what I need for the kind of like touring aspect. I don't really want to say that. I definitely feel like it would help a lot if you do tour more on a smaller bike. But it gave me the wind protection I was looking for. But it gives me all the style I want for a cool bike, and doesn't look stupid, because I definitely didn't want that either. Alright, I didn't want to make this video any longer than it needed to be. I feel like I just wanted to show my full like review experience and my real thoughts on it. What I think straight out the box, it's painted black, which is probably the #1 color that Harleys are. And even if there are some two-tone colors out there, a full black fairing may go pretty well with what you already have going. So I think that's really nice that that's already taken care of. If we kept this bike its original color, it was orange and black, so that might have worked. But I wanted to do a full paint job, so that didn't really care. But it was really nice to know that that was already done if you had a black bike or could use that color. The brackets are very stout. I don't know if there's anything they could do to like make it a little more rigid, but at the same time, if they make it too rigid, it might be prone to cracking. This fairing is pretty light, and I don't mean like cheap or whatever. It is nice that you're not adding a crap ton of weight to the front end of your motorcycle. The windshield from the factory, I think, is about right. I would personally probably throw a 2-inch taller windshield on there if and when it becomes available. Possibly one other thing I would change is putting nuts or like permanently mounted nuts on the backside, just because if I did have 2 windshields and I wanted to change them out, that would be nice. Other than that, I think for the money, I don't know if the price of these has gone up. I think I paid $800. I can't 100% remember. I bought this and a seat at the same time, but I think it's a really good deal for what you get and what's out there on the market. I think this is a screaming deal. Now, of course, you gotta like the style. I mean, some people just do not like this style, and if that's you, well, then you're just gonna have to move on. But I do think Saddlemen knocked it out of the park on this. Overall, everything's really good. I can't say any one real negative thing. You got to nitpick at that point. I know at least one other person who's bought it, and they overall enjoy it. A couple people have commented and messaged me after I did all this, and I know a couple people have bought it just because of the video I put out and the things that I was able to tell them and advise them. And overall, I think they're very happy with their purchase as well. This isn't a Saddlemen commercial. I'm just trying to give as much information about this thing as possible, because this was heavily commented on the YouTube video of me putting it on, plus just comments on Instagram. It was very heavily asked about this thing. I guess one of the negatives, if you can see on these a little bit earlier late model dynos where the key does have to be in the neck to turn on, it is annoying that like this does take up a little bit of the space, and with the keychain it does kind of like rest right there. I don't know how well you can see that, but again, that is super nitpicking. So at the end of the day, this fairing is really nice. If you're interested, comment down below. You got any questions, whatever. I think it's great. I think it's worth the money. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and as always, keep it wretched.